All right, all right. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's come on in. Come on in, say
Hi.
hey. Let us know where you're from. Let us what's going on. I am
Oh,
Asylum Life, and I'm here with my great friend.
I'm Courtney. I'm Filament Stories, but we've just switched over to a new streaming thingamabob. And how can I tell if people are saying something? Do I need to bring like my
We'll
iPad
just
up so I can look at notes?
over on the right hand side, you'll see a thing that says comments. Top right hand side underneath end stream.
Got it.
There you go. All
Maybe.
right. What's up, Guy the Jedi? How are you doing? Good to see you. Fotis Mint.
Hi. Fotis. Good me too. Oh my gosh,
DDV2.
everybody's here.
Good to
Okay,
see
hold on.
DV2. That's awesome.
You
Glad
see Dudley
everybody's
too.
here. Yeah, don't start running
Uh,
off on tangents yet, Courtney. Don't start running off on tangents yet. We'll get there.
Okay. All right. Well,
Hey,
you're the leader. I don't even know what we're doing because I just got
Raymer,
in
how's it going?
late last night. And Ray, oh my gosh. Now Ray and I go back longer than
Awesome.
anyone other than Ray. We may even go back further than my husband.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ray and
oh
I are
my.
so I got to tell you, Ray and I, unrelated because I'm a tangent person, and I found out recently because I was hanging out with Clock Spring that it's called squirreling, where you're like squirrel, right?
Right.
And then you're like
Yeah, yeah.
off, right? And so after he told me that, we would be like hanging out chatting, and I would be like, "I'm sorry, I'm a squirrel," and then so that was like, yeah, we would joke about that. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Ray and I have been friends for a very long time. In fact, I was so excited because the fun story was at Rocky Mountain Rep Festival. I went outside to see the death racers and everybody, and someone comes up to me and asked me a question, and I'm like, "Hey, so something something. So where are you from?" And I looked over, and it's my friend Ray, and I was like,
That's cool.
"Ray, oh my gosh!" I don't remember how much I jumped up and down, and his wife was there too. It was like the coolest thing.
Oh,
It
that's
was,
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
cool.
Rep
Yeah,
Rap
everybody
Festival. Which,
come
speaking
on
of, is
in.
that a topic?
Oh, our first topic is, but well, that's our first topic. But the first question we need to ask is, what are you drinking today? What are you eating or drinking or whatever tonight? I always like to know
Oh, I'm
that.
not well, there was my daughter had a choir, a chorus. She is in a chorusy thing, and they had a big production, and so we had that. But
Dungeons and
now
Dragons.
I have look at that. Well, I have water. This is water. I have a Stanley cup. I
Nice.
didn't even know what these were, and a friend of mine gave them to us, and my best friend and I had no idea. And the other of the four girlfriends, she was like, "Oh my gosh, you got a Stanley cups," and Eleanor and I were like, "It says Stanley and it's a cup," and she was like, "No, you don't understand. Like these are hard to get." So I didn't know, but now I know that's water. But
I
look,
grew up with those. I didn't know they were a big deal.
I didn't either. Milk is peach. Right? And this is from the Asian market, and this stuff is really
That's
good.
interesting.
I don't know. It's a
Oh,
creamy, peachy
okay.
thing. It's
Okay.
good.
Well, I got water as well, and
Yeah.
then I got some Coke in a glass here, and then I've got here. I'm a hide the brand name, and I got some whole cashews.
Oh, it's totally not given
Hey,
away by the little nut
if
guy.
if you, I'll show the label if y'all sponsor a show. Come on.
Oh my
All
gosh.
right.
Hi, Resin Dragon
Good to
Studios.
see
And it's
everybody.
Creatrix Brett.
Creatrix.
Hi.
How's it going? Good to see you. Well, yeah, so we will move on into our topics. Now, we have rules. Y'all know how Courtney and I will go on for days.
The rules are not for you all. The rules are for us because we're
Yeah, for
terrible.
us,
We have to
definitely.
have them for. We did like several of these, and we just like, I mean, talk about off the rails and squirreling. It was
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
bad.
So we have a 10-minute timer, and we have 4 topics, and those topics will go for 10 minutes, but we each have a pass where we can extend a topic for 5 minutes. And I will have a counter running, and I'm going to start our first 10-minute countdown for the topic of ERRF/Rep Rap Festival. So here we go. Courtney, go.
Now you are also in charge, right? And so are you going to go, if you're talking, you'll make you the focus. And if I'm talking, I'm the focus.
Yep, I
We'll
can
take
do
care
all
of it.
that. Not a
So
problem.
what we're doing this, the goal here is one, we thought it would be fun to just sort of talk a little bit more because the videos that I do are produced, right? It's 1 minute. It is how much I can wedge into a single minute. And that is something that it turns out I have built a skill in because if I try to do a long form video, I like can't get over 3 minutes because I'm going blah, 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 you know, and trying to get it in. So this gives us an opportunity to talk at a more normal pace and to talk at a greater length about something. And so I have done a bunch of, and I went back and I realized that people who aren't either interested in attending a gathering like a Rep Rap Festival or a Maker Fair, they're probably like, enough, back to the Filament. Right. But after going to one last year, ERRF was the first big one that I went to. I was in love with the camaraderie, being with your people. Right. And so I'm reading. Thank you, Jedi. That's cool. Yes, Fotis is amazing, right? But yeah, but it is such a really wonderful thing to meet people. And in my case, I know you had a video. You were going to be like, it always is embarrassing when I watch my own videos.
It's all good.
But
I know.
It's so fun at ERRF because I recognize names. But I haven't seen faces on a lot of people. And then I meet these people. And some of the really interesting things is it turns out some of them live like in my city. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. And it turns out we have people in Raleigh, and we have Beverly and her business partner. They have a company. It's actually a brick and mortar store called Ecovate. And it's downtown Raleigh. It's like 15 minutes from where I live. And they have their own Discord, and now we're going to try to get together and I don't know, maybe have pizza or something and actually have a real gathering of people who love 3D printing. And so that's what struck me about these events, which is why I was like, how many can I wedge into my schedule this year? And I will say, after getting back last night late, I'm tired. And I had said, I'm absolutely going to Form Next. And I'm in this group of people who are going to Form Next. And I'm like, I would love to make it, but I'm too tired. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to make it to Form Next in Germany this year. But that's okay. So the first thing is it says ERRF, talk about ERRF. But the second thing is just talk about Rep Rap festivals or gatherings of.
Let's jump with ERRF. Let's jump with ERRF. And so the first thing, why don't we show your video?
Oh, gracious. Okay, go ahead.
And we'll show that video.
Hi, Dennis Day.
Here we go.
Boy, that's riveting. Somewhere else. And also my friend Mandic.
Hold up, starting it over.
I'm Courtney, this is Filament Stories, and I am in Bel Air, Maryland at the East Coast Rep Rap Festival. And we have right here the wonderful, this is like the most fun booth. I've got our stuff here like stickers and filament spools, and I've been hanging out by Clock Spring, and he's got stickers and buttons. And behind me, I have got some of my wonderful 3D printing friends. I have Sith Lord Brit, Asylum Life Makes. I see Charo Zuck back there, and Fotis Mint is off somewhere else. And also my friend Mandic Really, and that is only the beginning. This is 3D Gloop. We've got folks from Prussia. There's Andrew. I can't tell you guys, I have met so many wonderful people. People I knew from prior years and other Rep Rap festivals, and people I've never met before that just touch the heart. Oh, hello! And this is my friend Rich. This is beautiful stuff from Greengate 3D, which I love their filament. And if you can't make this Rep Rap Festival, find another Maker Fair or event near you. Okay,
yeah,
first
and so
of
that's
all,
that community you were talking about.
Nice hat, JC. Second of all, I am apologizing again to Creatrix Brit. I know her name is Creatrix Brit, and I screwed up and said Sith Lord Brit, which was her name in a prior life, which, by the way, is still a freaking badass name. Okay, I love that name, although Creatrix Brit is wonderful as well. But that is we shot that once, and I'm walking backwards, and Rich just, you can tell that was not staged. He bumped into me, and I'm like, oh, hello. It sounds so silly. Yeah. But he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Although Rich is, if he has an opportunity to grab some media time, he totally will. But he's a sweet man. Yeah. Well, and they do make excellent.
I think that video. Yeah. And I think that video shows what you were talking about as far as the community. And that's what, I kind of have to say is for, this was my year, like anniversary. That was my first Rep Rap Festival to go to. That was where I actually in real life met you last year.
Which I couldn't believe because I was like, nuh-uh, we've known each other longer than that. And you were like, no, we met.
I know. And so, that's kind of where our journey began, and just all the different people that I've met, I've gotten to know better. And then what was really neat was getting to this ERRF and actually realizing how many more people I knew this year versus last year. And so that was really, really cool. Not to mention, you know, all the other things people working on, the different printers, the, you know, just different things that people were
Yeah, the
experimenting
technology
with
is
and
great.
products we found. It was really cool. Yeah. How about you?
Wait, hold on.
What'd you
Hi,
like about this
Stephen
ERRF?
Poole. Hi, Stephen Poole. And then wait a minute. YouTube unfollowed me? What?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Wait, we did? Okay. If it's us, we'll fix it. Why would we? Okay.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, and
I don't know.
the one thing about that video that I find the most cringy is I say, this is the best booth. And then I'm like, and here's my stuff. And I'm like, that's not what I meant. This was a crazy random happenstance of events that ended up with such a great group of us piled in to that space. And then we got a double whammy of bonus when Cookie Cad, who was not going to be able to make it, actually said, hey, do you mind? Can we have a little trolley? Can we leave it at your booth? And we were like, hey, yeah, thinking it would be something in the back. And they ended up with this like massive tower of their new filament. And everybody was like, ooh, new Cookie Cad. And so that was fun. But it really is. So I had told Clockspring who oh, good. I'm so glad I didn't do anything. Okay. So I told Clockspring about it. Now he's in Brisbane, Australia, and he just landed like an hour and a half ago. He messaged me and he was like, I'm home. And I was like, great. But I told him there is this sadness when the event's over. And that's because even though some of these people, a lot of them you've met for the first time, they're your people, right? I live in my basement most of the time and I hang out with 3D printers and social media and you guys who are my friends. I mean, I have real life friends, but you guys are my real friends. I mean, that sounds weird, but you all are my real friends. And yeah. And so I said, it's a real sadness at the end of the event. And he told me later, he was like, I understand now. But then we were like, but we're going to be back next year. And everyone says that who has attended one. And actually this was a big expenditure or investment to him because he and his wife and some other family members came and they were here for a month. That's a big investment in time.
Oh,
and so I didn't know that he would be back anytime soon. And at the end, he was like, okay, I'll be back. I'm going to be back. I'll be back next year. But, and he didn't exactly make a commitment, but you could tell he was like, I need more of this because I met all these people that had so many nice things to say in person. And he's gotten plenty of happy comments about his work. And Fotis, you're the same thing too, but it's just a whole different thing when you're meeting them in person and they get to say, I have Fotis Mint tattooed on my butt.
Yeah, and that was cool just meeting. Like, so Fotis and Charo met this year.
And Charo.
That was awesome meeting them and just meeting a couple of other new people. So I'm interested in, next year, who else am I going to know? How big is my knowledge of the people in the 3D printing space or just even the maker space at this point? Because, we're talking, we're getting to the point where we're about to run out of time. We probably should go. I will offer up my time to extend this 5 minutes because I know we want to talk a little more on it. But we're adding a lot more. We had laser engravers, CNC. There was a lot more. So it was more of a maker thing, which, is interesting because they're about to change their name.
Yes, I was going to say, if you want to extend this, I'd vote for extending this too, because this is a big combo event, especially with some comments that are coming in. And it really is a RepRap festival in general. But yeah, so hi, Dan Bob, but it is, so East Coast RepRap Festival changed their names to 3D Printopia. Is that right?
Yeah, 3D Printopia.
Okay, but then they also said it's not all about 3D printing. And then they were like, but you've got 3D printing in the name. But this year they were constrained and and I did get some perhaps not the most positive comments, but that this is, if you're talking about a maker fair, right, you're looking at people to bring, hey, look, this is just, I just stuck the stuff out that I printed. It's just me. I'm laying it out here. And some people are doing not that high-end stuff, and then other people are doing some really interesting and full suits of armor and very complex things, but it doesn't matter. The thing is that you bring what you love and everyone is excited about that, right? Everyone is respectful and excited. So they're outgrown the space, and that's what they said. We're renaming to 3D
Yeah.
Printopia. We're looking at a bigger space because this year was a lot of sponsors. And we're partially guilty for that because we took up sponsor booths because we were like, I was like, 8x8.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need, if we're going to wedge that many of us in, we need a 10x10. And so we got a 10x10, and then we made more friends. We were like, wait a minute, Charo. And what about Fotis? And so, and then,
Yeah.
and we ended up with multiple booths, and that was really great because you said that to me. You were like, if there's an opportunity for you to be in a spot, people can find you, and that's easier
Right.
than you wandering around. Yeah. And so that
Yeah.
was really
Yeah.
nice. And I met just the nicest people. Everyone is so nice. There was like zero negativity the whole time.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And, you know, if you're talking about the name and kind of looking at more into the topic, I think each one over the last year has really started taking on their own personality, just kind of the way that they do things. And so it looks like with ERRF changing its name to 3D Printopia, we're talking about something that's a little more accessible to everyday people, you know, as the like Bamboo Labs and other companies that are bringing the 3D printer appliance stuff to the market. It's starting to kind of open up to a different crowd that's not necessarily a techie or whatever. And so that's interesting to me. And then you have, what was it? Remurf? Was that the one that started in the garage, or was it the one in Indiana? I can't remember.
That was Murph.
You know, where, yeah, Murph.
Yeah.
Murph, you know, where they want it just to be just kind of this free for all. You run in the door, you grab a table, you set up, nobody's assigned places, you know, you just, everybody just comes in and has a blast. And so each one is really taking on their own personality. I think that's cool.
So our Murph, when because it was a first year event, I mean, and it was a huge success, and they utilized all the space they had, and just, I mean, it was packed, and it was so exciting to see everybody there, but they were only using half or 60% of the available space. So next year they're going to expand, which is great because they want all the makers to have their own space. And I think if it was that successful, it was also one of the first really big things to happen over in that area. Orange County Maker Fair. I was really sad I couldn't make that because I heard that was amazing. And that just ended, I guess it's today. No, maybe Saturday. It was a one-day event, but next year it'll be Saturday, Sunday. So that it could be a maker fair. There's a maker fair in Florida. I can't remember the name of. If Grant was here, I know he would know it. And then Murph is the one in the middle of the country that's the trickiest. It did start in a garage. I would say if you're thinking about what to go to, our Murph is, I mean, I had a lady who said, my mother's watched your videos. She loves your stuff. She mostly does sublimation stuff, but she does some 3D printing. Awesome. And there were a lot of children and stuff. Murph was people because it was in Amish country, and the closest major airport was 2.5 to 3 hours away. So unless you were in that area, you needed to take a trip to sort of get there. But it also has that history behind it, and so I really enjoyed going this year. But I don't know that one's going to grow in the same way that the East Coast one. And
that'll be a hard one.
Yeah, it's very milky and peachy.
Definitely. No,
but I guess the thing is,
no, I agree.
We're like beating a dead horse, which is if you've never been and you go, you'll understand, right? And that was why Clock Spring was like, I'm coming back. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Which I'm excited. I'm excited about
events
that.
Okay. RC Maniac is saying, events are started in the areas where the hosts are, and that's absolutely true. And East Coast Rep Rap Festival was nice because it's very close to large airports. It's right near a very large highway, and yet I thought I was in the wrong place last year. I drove in, I'm like, there's like pastures, and where am I? And then I drove out, and there was this really nice event hall with plenty of parking, and it was great. But yeah, they grew out of it quickly. So there are a lot of us that like 3D printing and other stuff. Okay, I don't remember what's next. Topic 2.
There we go. All right. So topic 2. So topic 2 has to do with a trip you just took over this last weekend.
Oh, inconsistent pasta. This may not be a full 10 minutes. We may regain time on this. So
okay. Well, here we go.
So I'm really bad about inviting myself places. I mean, I'm bad. Like I'll go, "Hey, can I come over to your party?" And I'm like, but I try to do, and I'm like, no, but if you don't need me to. So, um, when I heard Clock Spring was coming to the East Coast Rep Rap Festival, and I also heard that they were going to a metal music festival, I think. I'm trying to remember on the West Coast. They were going on the West Coast and something. And I'm like, how long are you going to be there? Are you up for going to Protopasta? We could go to Protopasta because I know Protopasta has really liked his work for a long time. And so he said, I'd be up for it. So I messaged Alex at Protopasta, hey, are you up for Clock Spring and me like invading Protopasta World Headquarters? And I always like to, World Headquarters is their main office.
cool.
And Alex said, absolutely, let me know when it is. So Clock Spring left his family to fly up to Portland on Wednesday evening, and then we were going to spend Thursday at Protopasta. And the reason I want to talk about this and the reason I'm going to call it inconsistent pasta is I'm hoping to get some feedback from this because Alex, and there's some founders of Protopasta, but Alex is one of the founders, they had a thing called the Protopasta experience. And it really was not that expensive. You had to get there, but you would spend a day at Protopasta and they would show you, here's how we make filament. It's very similar to what everyone else does, except for Protopasta does everything the hard way. Instead of like getting an extrusion line, they figured it out themselves. I mean, they were using their first filament was extruded and that was wound around a flower pot, and it was using a mill. Everything they did from scratch. All their software is written from scratch. They had instead of doing water bath, they're now doing water bath cooling, but instead of that, they were using like that, how the air on air hockey table like lifts it up. They were like the filament was just kind of floating down. Other companies will extrude their filament at a larger diameter and then they will stretch it out to get to like 1.75. Yes, Kickstarter. Oh, that event. Okay, so that event, RC Maniac, has not happened since COVID. And I think even the page is there, but it like lists a date of 2020 or 2021. So Clock Spring and I went there, and I know his name is Sven, that he's been Clock Spring to me for so long. I just, Clock Spring comes out of my mouth. And he said he didn't care. So I was like, okay. So we went there and we, walked around, and I am a big, like poor Alex, he didn't get a chance to talk about his own stuff half the time because I would go, and then look at this, and then they do this, and it's so exciting. So one of the things that Protopasta does that is very exciting is a little just general, and those of you, I know I'm going to tell you guys a whole bunch of stuff and you'll be like, yeah, we already know that. But most companies that are, if they might not be making their own filament, they might be purchasing it from a company and they're saying, these are the colors that I want and whatnot. But a lot of companies that are making their filament, I have, I know that I'm thinking several of them, they actually make their own filament. But what they do in order to select the colors is they buy master batch from another company. And I should have pulled it out here. Master batch is very highly pigmented colors. So for instance, we went, if you haven't, I don't know if Grant's video came out yet, it may have, and our video will come out soon, that shows we had Dave walk us around at Printed Solid. He showed us through the whole process, and he said, and here is, it's in these big dog food bins, and he's like, here is the master batch for this particular color for Brad's orange, and it costs more than a car. And he said, this thing costs more than a car because there's a lot. And if you ever see filament being made, it's a whole bunch of like base resin, which is PLA or PETG in general, PLA, and for the most part, since that's what my experience is. Anyway, let's say PLA, it could be PETG or whatnot. And then a little bit of pigment. And you're like, there's just a few blues in there. And it comes out this deep blue. And that's because that pigmenting is very intense. And even those little pellets are strong. So most companies are getting, this is my gold, this is my green, this is my blue, this is my Brad's orange or whatever. So Protopasta doesn't do anything easy. So they make their own master batches. And in addition to making their own master batches, they don't make just one. They make it so you can have a recipe, right? So if you are an artist and you wanted to mix your paint on a palette, That's very much what you can do at Protopasta. And that's what makes
Hmm.
this so fun. And Alex has this little black notebook that's all the formulas that have ever been made, right? And so if you want to make something, I remember when I went the first time, I was like, I want to make a translucent blue, very much like Blood of My Enemies. I just want to make a really deep purple variant of Blood of My Enemies. And he was like, can't do it. We're already working on it with a company. And so a few months later it came out and I was like, yay, Bobby's Iris Purple. So that's what's really fun. And this Protopasta experience is exactly that. And you get this, bin here and you dump in something like 800 grams of NGO base HTPLA resin. And then they have, I'm going to call it like the magic additives. And that's all companies or most companies will have additives. Protopasta has these specifically so that they will print well in all machines, right? They actually have some just base HTPLA if you want. And then you get to make your color, right? And I don't have video of this. So I wanted to make rainbow. That was my goal. And I was like, when I was there before, Alex sort of was like, how do they maintain color? Oh, I haven't unpacked my bag. Oh, it's not in here. So they either, Raybert said, how do they maintain color between batch runs? They will either have transition spools, and some people really like that. It used to be they were given away for free. A lot of times now they will just discount them pretty significantly. And it's because some people don't care about color because they're going to post-process it anyway. They're going to turn it into a helmet or a suit, something. And so it's discounted because it's not standard color. So I wanted to do rainbow. And my theory was, and why this would work with Protopasta, is they have very high percentage. Like here's an example. Instead of having a blue, they have a 5% blue, a 1.25% blue, a 0.25% blue, a 0.02% blue, and a 0.002% blue. So they have something like that many versions of the same blue, but just intensities of them. And I said, I want to get the strongest blue, the strongest red, and the strongest yellow. And I want to put just a very few of them in a bin and shake it up and then throw it in there and see how it comes out. And Alex, last time, he was like, oh, no. And then I teased him for like 2 years. And he was like, okay, fine. Or a year and a half. He's like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. So I got to do it. And I called it inconsistent pasta. So this is the first one. And you can't hear, I'm going to hold it up here. So it came out very vague. You can see that we did get different colors, right? It's very yellowy and brown. And so the problem is that the yellow is 20 times less strong than the red and the blue. So we had to change around. So the second time we did it, we switched around the numbers, and where is it that we broke the spool? And the whole reason this was fun, but the reason I wanted to talk about this was because this was so much fun. I want Protopasta to start that. Is this the right one? So see how we got more colors?
That's cool. I like
it's really
that.
neat. Now, you have to be, and I call it inconsistent pasta because we would be watching the spool, and this is a kilo-ish, right? And we would be watching it, and we were like, it's beautiful blue. That's muddy. And so we would kind of go muddy for a while. We did, and this was fun. We got to do, this is where we had too much blue in it. See how it's too much? It looks it's just blue and red, right? And the one we got was
that's the one I like.
Yeah, that's the one I like. This one is, I'll show you the end. So see how we were getting orange and blue and some pink there.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, this is where we got, let's see if I can get the light because there's a really nice purple in there. See how that's kind of neat. And that's from a very few, it's from 1 gram. 1 gram, it's from 3 grams total of pigment in a whole kilo. So 3 grams of pigment, which is how strong. Oh, oops, I broke it. It's coming apart. Yikes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You'll never be able to use it in your bamboo now.
I know, right? So this is fun, but is it something like when Joel came years ago and said, because Protopasta hadn't been around for a while, and they did, and he said they were making Joel Telling's High-Fi Blue, and oops, and he said, "You're going to sell that, right?" He said,
Time's up.
"Oh." Anyway, bug
Do you want to extend
Protopasta
it?
about this. I'm done. Hold on, bug
Okay.
Protopasta about this because I want them to bring this back. I want people to sign up for it. Okay, I'm done.
No, that is really neat. I like that idea. I would sign up for it. I definitely would.
Yeah, yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it's fun, but it's a lot, and if you don't have any, it's completely irregular. It's completely inconsistent. I don't know if they could sell it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, hello to everybody new coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Sliced. I just want to kind of introduce ourselves. I am Asylum Life, and this is Courtney from Filament Stories. We are covering some topics. We've already talked about ERRF tonight. We just finished talking about Protopasta. If you're interested in potentially, like she was saying, bugging Protopasta to bring back this program she was talking about, go back, watch this live again, and you'll get an idea of what happened, and you might want to bug them too. I
Protopasta experience. You get to make your own, craft your own filament. It's really worth it.
Yeah, that's
well,
cool.
Aside from the fact that you got to get there.
Definitely. But thank y'all for coming in tonight. Thank y'all so much. Always excited to see y'all in here. And we're going to move on to our next topic. And this next topic is for me, but I hope a lot of you guys out there are interested in this. Filament organization. Okay, so I'm going to. So that's the reason I am up on this topic is because that is my closet right there. All right. That is actually my real closet right now. And I just installed the Repcord Rep Rack system in there. Really, it was really cool, pretty cheap. Each shelf on there may cost like $5. It's like nothing.
It uses French cleats, right? And
so
it's very minimal.
You can do the French. You can do the French cleats. You can do, there's some different cleats he has that you can print. You can cut it out of boards if you want to. He has the brackets to where you can print those, or you can actually cut them out. I cut mine out. I cut mine out with a laser and did a 1/4 inch Luan. It doesn't take a lot, and just conduit pipe. But with that in mind, you kind of see the disarray of my closet. And so I wanted to talk to you, and I think other people are always interested as far as organizing your filaments. Do you have suggestions on that? Do you have thoughts on that? Are you into organizing your closet? I know the answer to that question, but talk to us a little bit about that.
I mean,
because like up top, that top shelf is all ABS. And then everything else down below that top shelf is like PETG and PLA. And I still have stuff on the floor. I've got 4 more shelves to put in there and I'll be done.
Well, a lot of it is taking advantage of the space you have. The filament, I had a friend who named, what is the bleeping? Oh,
because we're under 10 minutes. I forgot to start.
We're out of time already. I was like, gosh, I didn't even get to go. So a lot of it's using the space you have. So I was using bins originally because I didn't have that many filament. And so and then I got to the point where it was just annoying going from bin to bin. And we're in our basement here. I'm in the mechanical room, which I always joke. Fortunately, no one's flushed the toilet. Actually, it won't matter because we're live stream, but if you flush the toilet, like the main water comes right now. You hear it go down. My husband probably has the HVAC off because that's also right over there. And then that, kicks up some sound. But I was like moving bin to bin and it was annoying to get around. And we had stairs, obviously, to go to the basement. And I was like, wait a minute. There's all these toys in here and my children are older and they're not really going in and playing with the toys in that closet. I can move these toys to another spot. And that's how the filament closet got born. And I had another friend who I got a chance to see at ERRF, and he was the one that said the filament fallout shelter. And he doesn't remember. Maybe he does. I don't remember. And I'm like, oh yeah, you totally named it. And he was like, I did. And I'm like, yeah. But I was like, so that's great. So if we ever move, right, I got to come up with a new name, like the bunker. I don't know. But that worked out. And so if you can, so I did a video way back I was showing little bits of the closet and worried that people would be like, that woman has so much filament. She is crazy. And so I was like nervous about showing it. And then out of the blue, Joel Telling one day said on TikTok, if this is filament stories, if you're not filament stories, it's okay. You can listen to it. But filament stories, I have a filament organization problem and I need help organizing my filament. And he showed what he had. And so I thought, oh, what happened there? Oh, what are we looking at?
What are we looking at? What?
Something? Oh, no, I moved the cursor. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were doing something. Sorry.
I'm going to step over the closet real quick. You keep talking, and I'll just kind of show. Some people are talking about plastic bins and
plastic bins.
Things. Now, this room, I have a door that closes, and if you look, I'll show you around this room in a minute. This is like a 12 by 12 space that everything I do is in, and so I have a whole room dehumidifier in here, so everything stays closed all the time. So I do have that, but let me jump over to the closet real quick. And so, yeah,
I had to open the door because it's like these lights are hot.
Here. I've got about 4 bins down here on the bottom, and so I tried the bin thing for a while. It's just stacking and unstacking and all that stuff. This didn't work for me. I don't know. Have you tried bins, Courtney? Of course, you're like crawling under things and hiding things from your husband at this point.
Yeah, I'm hiding. I'll show you where I'm. No. I just opened that. Open that back up. It's filtering in here. And then take the dog that way. Thank you.
All of these are in the floor of my closet.
What are they? Oh, yeah. Here's my son. This is Grayson.
Hey, son.
You let the dog in and then let him out. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, that's my closet.
I have a date with my son to play. What are we playing? This is the dog Matisse. Hello, sweetheart. What are we playing at 9?
Mario Wonder.
Mario Wonder, the new Mario. It's a side scroller. I'm really excited. Resin Dragon Studios says hi. RC Maniac says hi.
Hola. Come on.
Here.
Bonjour.
Let's do this.
Wait,
Give me a second.
Okay. So
I'm just going to take the camera off and I'm going to go into the closet. How's this?
Okay, you go in the closet. Yeah, that was a really interesting thing. It was an opportunity for me to show the closet. And then later, I went to Protopasta to do some work with them and we went down and it was fun. We did a video with Joel and I had an opportunity. This was just funny. If you follow him, Joel Telling on Twitter, X, Clockspring and I went to Seattle after hanging out with Protopasta, and he and Joel have filmed a video that Joel will put out at some point soon, I'm guessing. But in the meantime, they were finishing up, and I was like, "This is a mess over here. Can I organize this?" And so he said, "Sure." And I'm like, "You don't care?" So I'm just like, because I didn't have much to do. He has so much white. Oh my goodness. He has a lot of white. Okay. So as far as what makes sense, gosh, I don't even know. Let me see if I can
Hey, you're hitting buttons.
Uh-oh. There.
You knocked yourself out of the room. You hit the remove button on yourself. There you go. Here.
Me. I'm adding me to the stage. How do I add this other one? Slide 1.
Oh, that's a media thing. Hold on one sec. That's a media thing. I'll get it.
What?
Is this your slideshow? Stop removing yourself. There you go.
Oh, does that mess my audio up?
Again. Yeah, your audio goes out when you remove yourself.
Oh,
new tool.
Okay, so
please be patient. New tool.
Yeah, no, we just switched over. So Creatrix Brit, you had said use StreamYard, and so we just switched over to StreamYard, and wow, it was easy. So yeah, for me it worked better to organize them by color, and the reason it worked better for me by color is in general, if I'm going to print something, I want to print. I'm looking for Halloween, so I'm going for orange. So that worked for me. A lot of people prefer to organize it first by material and then by color. And with initially that wasn't a big deal for me because I didn't have printers that were doing like the AMS, right? Or the
Right.
MMU.
Right.
So I was grabbing, and then I later got the palette 2 and the palette 3, and I had to remember not to grab any PET G to go all PLA or all PET G. So at the time, I didn't have as much PET G, and it wasn't a problem. But that would be, I think, a consideration, because I think a lot of people are getting a bigger amount of PET G. So let's see, what do we have here? Yeah. And then, so this was just sort of, oh, don't look at a big stack over there that I haven't, I got a big stack that I have to integrate.
Good organization.
Yeah. So
have a good organization right there.
I know. So it's fun to do this to me, and it's fun because I think it's just really nice. I enjoy going in that closet and looking for colors. Like you recently said, hey, can you print a stitch model? And so we talked about what the colors were, but you have to have the options, and I just happen to have some. But it is interesting. I just got the A1, and I bought that thing with my own money because I was like, it'll work with cardboard spools. It'll work with samples. Done. But the price point was really good too. But I got it because when I was doing the stitch for you, half of the options, it seemed like, weren't even available because of the inability to, and I even had the upgrade. So, but the other thing is, depending on your space, this just coincidentally, we had this space and they were deep. And so behind there, I've got some 2x4s. I think I have a stack of 3 2x4s that's leveling up, raising up the others. But it really depends on your space. So over here, this is a bookshelf, not a bookshelf. This is a media shelf. It's designed for DVDs or CDs. I think it was DVDs because it's tall enough for DVDs. And so that was in the attic because we're streaming now. And so I pulled that thing down and stuck a whole bunch of filament on there. You can see here, it's closet under the stairs because that's how it's going down. So it just depends on what you want to do. These spools here, this company, EU Makers, makes a lovely filament, but it's a little tiny hole in the center of the spool. And so it doesn't fit on any spool holder.
Yeah.
And any standard spool holder. And so you need this little stand on it, which it comes with. It's fine. And it's nice filament, but it's atypical because of that. Do I have more? Oh, yes. This is a secret. Only my husband figured it out.
Yeah, I know. That was what he found, wasn't it?
He found this. Yeah, this was a hiding spot. I rearranged a bunch of stuff. This is another spot. So I have some sublimation stuff down at the bottom here, but I didn't know how to categorize co-extrusion and tri-extrusion filament because it's red and blue and green. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm sticking them all together. And I had this video planned that I have yet to do because I know originally when the first co-extrusion came out, it was one company in the back end making them, right? Special. Uh-oh. Are we done?
Uh-oh. We're done with that topic.
Well, I was going to compare them all. You can see I haven't done that yet.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So
I mean, one of us has 5 more minutes to extend this if we want to.
I mean, unless people have questions, but we've got questions coming up. It really is what works for you. I liked it by color. I liked it. It's so based on your space. Yeah. Oh, and that closet, I could put a dehumidifier in to keep it from being really humid.
Right. So you could see that back in the corner. I would probably, I'm kind of thinking on like, I like the idea of the color, but I also like the idea of knowing like where my PET G is and where my ABS is and where, my different types of filament. And so, that's probably more where I'm going to fall in line with things.
Initially I didn't have that much PET G, and so it was really easy. I just recognized the PET G.
Yeah.
I
I'm embarrassingly while you're talking, keep talking. I'm just going to show off my like 8-foot ceilings and my 12 by 12 space. So that's my closet right over there.
A filament is right there.
Yep, that's the filament closet.
You have it very well organized.
So there's my FDM. That's my photography station where you see all my pictures and stuff done. And then my resin is right there. And then I've moved all my plugs to the ceiling so I don't trip over them.
Oh, that's smart.
So
Oh,
anyway.
I like how you have those. Oh my gosh, you've been here. You know how we have to walk all around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this looks, it looks like, but the front of this desk, you have to kind of skirt to get around it on this side. And then we've got this thing back here, and I've got printers over there. And when you stay here, the guest room has printers in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when you're here, when you're here, you tune them up.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I worked on, yeah.
I'm into calibrating and tuning. So by the time I leave, I've done something to every one of our printers anyway.
I know. I'm like, when are you coming back? It needs some tuning up. Yeah.
Well, and so I think at this point, we can move into our fourth topic. I think our fourth topic kind of opens up to anything. And one of the things that we want to know from you guys, the ones watching and everything, what kind of stuff do you want us to talk about? We'll just kind of go through that. Let's, we'll ask the audience, what kind of topics do you want us to look at for the future? We have some interviews coming up next month. I think we have Clock Spring. We haven't shored that up yet.
No, he just had a really long flight from Portland to Brisbane, Australia. And shortly before this, he said, I've landed. And I said, oh, you must be really tired. And he was like, well, I'm going to work in an hour when I get home. And then I said, by the way, Asylum wanted me to know if we could confirm you for next month on the video. And he was like, make it so. So
okay.
He was waiting to go through immigration or whatever. And he said, yes. So he might be.
That's funny.
But yeah, so he'll be here. But that was really nice meeting him because none of us had met him.
Right. No, that was really cool.
That was another thing that Clock Spring and I were like, did we just do that? We invited ourselves to just visit Joel.
Yeah. So guys, what topics? Put some topics in the
printer
room.
Race.
What are some things? Printer race. There you go. We've talked about the fact.
Do we need to put the printers on wheels, Ray? Or are we having which is the fastest printer? And from a printing standpoint.
Is this from the printing standpoint, or are we throwing it down a mountain to see which one hits the bottom first? There's a couple of printers I would do that with.
That is a common thing to say. I almost threw the printer out the window.
I think that comes from the computer space.
It's Cookie Cad. Was Cookie Cad here? Hi, Cookie Cad. Hold on, I gotta shut this door. And now it's too cold.
Printer race. Yes, Cookie Cad, you have invaded my home. I have a ton of your filament right down here. There's 2 shelves of Cookie Cad in that closet, and then you saw the photo space. You know what's happening over there. But yeah, throw it down the mountain. Yeah, I'm in for that one sometimes. Transmissions distance. So now we've actually had we've had a few conversations with that. We had some interesting conversations with some people at ERRF and the guy who is actually creating the little system, over at Hugh Forge. He was creating that little system to measure it as far as by transmission distance. So I think that's really, really going to become a thing. And I know I've talked to a couple of filament people and said, hey, would you ever put this on your roll? Information, that type of stuff. And they're very open to the idea, especially since Hugh Forge is really starting to make more and more headway. And so many more people are using Hugh Forge. I've started playing with it a little bit. I haven't printed anything out yet. But yeah, transmission distance.
Something that I would like to see, if we're going to talk about transmissiveness, is that a lot of people are very interested in knowing how much they have left in a spool and if there's enough to finish that print. And so they know that they're using 49 grams because the slicers are pretty accurate, right? You're going to use 49 grams or 183 grams in the spool. And so they keep track of that. But how much does a spool weigh? And there are people that are taking that information and putting it in spreadsheets in various places. But if we're going to have information on these spools, that would be a really nice thing that could just be baked into the spool, right?
Yeah.
This spool weighs. And that's something that I think would be a really nice thing for companies to add, whether it be a plastic spool or a cardboard spool. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Has the bamboo
What
made
does your
you
shirt
miss
say?
tinkering with? Wait, what?
What does your shirt say? Let them see your
Oh,
shirt.
my shirt say, oh, well, I'll talk about, I have to go back to the other topic. This is, so Clockspring, it turns out, is not only good at 3D design, he's good at 2D design. So this says Grimm's filament, and it's questionably sourced filament, may contain 100% sustainable, may contain traces of bones and organs. So when we were at Protopasta, Alex had seen that and he'd gotten the sticker, and he actually wanted to do a Blood of My Enemies, and he and Clockspring ran a run where they took this crazy amount of this very white glittery stuff and were hoping that it would look different. But even with a whole bag and a single kilo, it just looked like Blood of My Enemies when it came out.
Okay, you got 9 more minutes before your son comes and gets you. So has your bamboo made you miss tinkering with printers?
I still have some I tinker with. So no, but I have printers that I don't want to touch, right? Like I'm like, it's stock. I like it stock. I don't want to mess with it. And that's fine. And then other printers that are fun to mess with, right? That you get in part because you want to tinker with them. And so, yeah, no, because I like getting more printers. I don't have room for more printers. I just got another printer.
So sublimation.
I got another printer 2 days ago.
What'd you get?
The XL.
Oh, I forgot it came in. That's
and
awesome.
I actually forgot. I put $100 down on that darn thing in 2021.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. And it was the 5-head one, so it's gonna hurt. And so we were at Joel's studio and they were picking out something to print, and I was like, gosh, I wonder if I get to confirm my order. Ouch.
That's awesome. Have you messed with sublimation, heat press, and transfer to print parts?
Yes, I have. I want to do more sublimation, huh?
To printed parts?
To printed parts. Yes. Have I sublimated on printed parts?
Yeah.
So I've done it in the opposite order. I've printed a sublimation. I've like 2D printed on a sublimation paper, and then taped the sublimation paper down on the printer, and then printed
to it. Yeah, Mr. Makerman was telling me something about glassing or something. What was that you were talking about, Mr. Makerman?
So I printed this. I printed a couple of variations of it. It's not completely crisp, right? Because it's really crisp on this side. And then I printed a couple of them. And so this is just a ball cap bill. And I have all the parts, and I have still not put it together. Yes, sublimation. I absolutely love sublimation. I think it's the neatest thing. And I want to combine something. Water slides.
Yeah, water slides.
That's
a really interesting thing.
Not in the winter. Wait a minute. Are you just talking about water slides? Oh, no, how many printers am I up to? Uh-oh. So let me think about that.
Yeah, Mr. Makerman was telling me something about where you're printing stuff out and you're using, I don't understand the concept of transferring the ink to plastic. You print on regular paper and then like you water slide it to a print. That's all I know. Oh, and he just said that. So it's interesting. It's an interesting concept. I haven't studied it yet, but I'm gonna put it down as a topic.
I'm counting.
It's really interesting.
Okay, wait a minute. No, I don't know what. Print on a regular printer and then water slide it to the print. What?
Yeah, it's interesting.
No, let's take a note on that because I don't know anything about that. Print on a regular printer.
He was showing me like he prints out eyeballs. He prints out eyes and then uses this water slide technique to put them on the eyes of a model when he's painting.
Wait a minute. Like, okay, like I know how tattoo works, right? So you've got like the tattoo and the tattoo's there and then and then it slides off, right? Few other steps in there, but that's the most of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Print on a regular printer and then water slide.
I wrote it down.
Print. Yeah, let's
look
into
topics,
that.
Guys?
I think I have 22 maybe printers. I gave one or two away. I'm trying to remember. It's like 22, but actively like it is. So there are the fast 3D printers now, and the fast 3D printers are very, it's very tempting to use them all the time. But
Right.
I have printers around me here on either side. And so if you start a long print, even on a fast printer, it might be an 8 hour or 10 hour print. And if we're going to film later in the day, the bamboos are really loud. I have two bamboos that way. And I had an A1 right there. I got to find a home for the A1. I got to get rid of some. There's
She's got
stuff
a
this
printer
way that
problem.
that's not my space, and I'm not allowed to take over that space. But I could put more printers if I had that space. But you've been here, JC, Asylum. And, sorry. And you know I'm not allowed to claim any of that space, much as I might like
definitely.
it. Mm.
You've tried to
Yeah.
claim underneath that space, but that still
I
wasn't
have.
allowed either.
I claimed underneath it, and I put some black felt over it, and I got busted for that too.
It's like trees on property above the line.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
doesn't work.
So send me the okay. Handing out prints for Halloween. No, I'm not. That would be fun. Who do I know that was handing out prints for Halloween? Oh, Joel was doing something really interesting. He has something called the small Joel and a big Joel. Are you handing them
Yeah.
out?
I've been
At
printing
his,
these to
oh,
hand out.
those are
I've got to
so
clean them
cute.
up. So they're cute.
He was printing that really big. And if you go to his coffee shop and you buy the small Joel, it's just a beverage that he's ordered for a long time. Then you can get a little print. And there were some of the Zao 3D prints, and they were really cute.
Awesome. All right.
But I haven't
Last
handed
chance for
out.
topics for us to cover over the next couple of months, guys. We're looking for some topics.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm rambling
No,
on.
you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
sublimation is something I'm really excited about because you can do it on so many things. And then sublimation, and I have some friends that do 3D printing in fashion, right? And so even taking like a t-shirt, and taking a t-shirt and then like laying that down and printing something on the sleeve or whatnot, and combining that with sublimation, and it's just really neat stuff. So
Yeah.
Let me still go about appointment.
we
I knew it
still
was
have
coming.
an appointment.
Oi, mate.
Right, mate. That was his Australian accent. That was interesting.
We hope that was his attempt for an Australian accent. It could
What
have
do we
been
want
Russian.
to see in
You
future
don't know.
slicers? Oh, that's a great question. Oh,
You know,
high speed. Oh, that's a great question. Oh,
yep,
hold on.
yep. Good stuff.
Hold on
All right,
just a
hyper.
second.
I'm writing it down.
No, you don't have to write it down because just hold tight.
Yeah. Hey, what's that slicer from the Cetus 2? What's the name of their slicer? Do you
I
remember?
just broke that one. I've been working on that question.
Do you remember
I
the name of the
still-
Cetus 2 slicer?
Did I write two of them? I wrote two of them. Oh, I know which one switched.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I've been working on high-speed silk question. And I even contacted one of the companies. I was like, your silk does not do well in high speed. Did you know that? And I got the answer of, well, all silks work well at high speed with the right settings. And I'm like, but that's not what people are going to do. So some silks do. Where's a bad example of, oops, that one I broke. I'm really good at breaking stuff. So silks really bad. I don't know if this will show.
Yeah.
Probably not going to show.
silks are
Yeah,
rough.
it just
Hold
does not do well in high speed silk, and they're silks that do well in high speed.
Wrong person. Put it back up
Huh?
again. Put it back up
Me?
again. I got you.
Put
you
it back
big
up
now.
again.
Yeah.
Let
Let 'em
this
see
is
it.
just one. Let's see. Can you see how
There it goes.
it's
focus.
just not? It's not good, right? And then let me show you this one. I broke it, but let's pretend like I didn't break it. See how pretty that is? That might be from the company that also has the printer, which is not surprising. So, but silks at high speed. And there are just a lot of filaments that don't do well at high speed. And I think companies need to have that as a big consideration, because if, for instance, the A1 is a great turnkey multicolor, you don't have to modify it printer for people. that are starting out, they are not going to be knowledgeable about this filament doesn't work well. And they might also get it and not realize that they're getting suboptimal visual results as
Right.
at the end of their prints. And so the answer should be it prints well high speed. I think we need filament to go to print well with high speed. I think we just need to have that happen.
Yeah, I think
not
so.
that I'm telling companies what to do, but yeah.
Well, and I think everybody seems to be working on it. Everybody that, you know, I've been talking to, they're all working on the hyper filaments. So Mr. Makerman, I don't think they will replace CAD software. I think CAD software is pretty developed. I think they're going to have to become more compatible as far as slicers. I think they're going to have to become more compatible with ways to color. I think they're going to have to get better at that before they really start adding too much CAD. That would be my thoughts on that. I think getting into CAD and trying to do that's a little rough. Up Studio is by Cetus 3D. Up Studio is a really interesting way of painting. They've got probably one of the better ways of painting I've seen. That would be an interesting way for people to go. It's an interesting direction. But yeah, as far as that goes, they're adding some things. I think they're doing simplistic stuff, but if a slicer gets above like FreeCAD or something, I think it becomes CAD software instead of a slicer. Maybe CAD software will get slicers, but right now they're way too specialized.
My husband just stuck his head in and looked around and said, "We didn't get the XL yet, did we?"
PLA Plus worth getting for high speed printers.
PLA Plus.
Yes. So is PLA Plus worth getting for high speed printers?
I know. I was going to say, I'm not surprised. My friend Ray is saying you don't have your safety gear on. I know I don't have my safety gear on. I was going to say that. Thank you for pointing it out. My husband popped his head in after noticing that we didn't have the XL yet. I just confirmed 2 days ago.
Nice.
So I'm working with my 3D glue. I hope I'm gluing the right two together. So what was the question? I forgot.
PLA Plus, is that worth getting for
okay, yes. So
printer?
PLA Plus that's interesting. So PLA Plus has different. I mean, PLA Plus typically is a stronger, right? It can be stronger than just regular PLA versus hyper PLA, which I've gotten information back from another company that sometimes it's actually a lower quality of materials that make it work better at higher speeds. But I don't know. I don't know what lower quality means in that scenario. So I'm not sure. I don't know that it would be. I mean, PLA Plus will absolutely be good with that high-speed printers. The question is, how will it do with the? I already glued this one together once. This one, watch out, Ray. I'm not inhaling. I didn't inhale. Hold on. I have to show you. I have to do this. This is like coming out every. I'm going to show you Elastigirl's butt because it's so much better than this.
Hold on, make you big again.
Right. No, that's you.
Wrong person. There you go.
Okay. See how it's very shiny here and then it goes to matte. That's exact. This should be a very shiny black, but when it hit a certain speed and temperature, that's where it's just not able to perform. Now, is there anything bad? No, if you like a matte filament, that's fine. But like her stockings are nice or her leggings are nice and smooth, and then they go to matte. And so that's kind of what you're running into. And so it's just how the PLA is appearing. There's nothing bad. What?
Right. And that's what I was saying. You know, for me, I do a lot of prototyping. And I do a lot of time lapses and I need things to look structurally nice. High speed is not great for me, especially on the prototyping side. If I have a high speed printer, generally I'm going to have to slow it down 50 to 70% to get the same adhesion that I would from a regular printer. So right now it's not a good time for me as far as speed. But now as we get the hyper PLAs and the things that are potentially going to have better adhesion, fast will become more important. And I think fast has to become important for us to compete with the other type of technologies out there that can duplicate and replicate things quicker. So we have to, but right now I don't think we're there. For me, it's not worth it to go with a high-speed printer for the stuff that I'm creating business-wise.
Well, you have
And
multiple printers too. Oh,
Right,
that's
right.
terrible.
I have a lot of different ones.
Yeah. No, I mean, but again, here's a beautiful silk. Silks look so nice and shiny, but if you have it and you're new, I mean, I remember seeing one of Angus Maker's Muse videos, and he was like something slicer settings, and I was so lost. I mean, absolutely lost. And I love now. I just love playing around with slicer settings because it's what will you get as a different result. And another thing is how fast can I speed up the time, right? So can I get the same result with the same strength, but shave off an hour? That's always fun.
Right. But yeah, I'm just kind of pressing through here, looking at.
I know we're over time. Sorry.
I know we are, and you've got your little date thing you got to do. The
I
thing
didn't
I
even
liked
finish
about
my milk is peach.
I know,
My
right?
non-alcoholic milk is peach beverage. Okay.
That's funny. The Up Studio stuff, I was taught the painting to me in there because you can click and then you have knobs that allow you to adjust. Whereas Prusa and anything that uses that type of slicer, you seem to really have to paint a lot more. You can't do good selections on certain areas. Up Studio uses angles within it to let you choose and use these bars to kind of stretch things out across. And it's really, really neat. So that's what I liked about that. Anything else? Which slicer would you recommend? There you go. Which slicer would you recommend? Orca, Bamboo, Prusa, or Cura?
So and this is one of the things, more people use Cura, I think, than anything else worldwide. I think that's the number one slicer.
I think so.
Cura is fine. I prefer Prusa slicer and Cura before Bamboo Studio was around. Bamboo Studio has features that Prusa doesn't have. And I was using Super Slicer. I don't use Super Slicer anymore. I use Prusa Slicer because I need to for some of the things that it doesn't. But the Bamboo Studio Slicer has some great features, and Orca is a little more flexible. So that's a hard. I use all of them, and I also I even have more slicers than that. What else am I using? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I use, sometimes I go to Cura for some features that Cura does better, but Prusa Slicer is probably that, and Bamboo Slicer are the two I use the most. I need to move over to Orca Slicer because Orca Slicer is great.
I've heard it's good. I haven't touched it yet.
I was like, I'm going to move completely to Super Slicer and then I never really made the full transition. Oh, is it time?
Yep, it's that time.
Waiting for me. Okay.
So, all right. So it's that time, guys.
Oh, wait, hold on. My husband was like, you're using the Creality print one too. I have to tell you guys, I like the K1. I am going to put a review up on that. I like the K1. I like the K1. It works really well. It's the best Creality printer I've ever had. Joel, I was in his studio 2 days ago, and he was like, I really like the K1 Max. I'm really surprised. And I'm like, yeah, the K1 works great. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, you like the K1?
Awesome.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, I am happy, and the slicer works right. The Creality slicer works, but not everybody had the best luck with it. But I really like it. You can send straight to it. I have a lot of confidence in the K1.
Right.
There's a couple little things that need to be better, but other than that, it's a great machine.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, guys, we're going to have to let Courtney go. She's got a date with her son, and we don't want her to miss that date. And, us guys understand what it's like to be late at a date. You see any other question there you want to answer real quick?
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm reading RC Maniac.
Last one.
As someone who doesn't own a Bamboo, I've been trying to figure out what Bamboo Orca do that just aren't in it. So one of the things that Bamboo does, I'll answer that. So it's rearranged a little bit as far as you're pretty much getting the same functionality in Prusa Slicer and Bamboo Slicer. But one of the things they do that's really nice is you can add plates, right? So you can say, and you can do this in Prusa Slicer, but in Bamboo Slicer, you're like, add plates. So if I've got 4 plates and you divide your prints up to 4 plates, And then you can say, send that plate to this printer and that plate to this printer and that plate to this printer and that plate to this printer. And
I
you
do
can
like that.
slice them individually. And that's really nice. And Prusa has it's already, if you have more than what fits on a build plate, they're already dividing it up into plates. They just don't quite have that. And so that's great.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. It's so great. Oh, thank you, Resin Dragon Studios. We'll be back. If I'm leaving you, so keep taking notes, Asylum.
Yeah. So
We'll be back next,
I'll be in the room a little bit.
Spring.
I'm going to play some music. Guys, every fourth Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, we are here sliced. Courtney's got to get to her date, so I'm going to fade her out. But thank y'all so much for coming.
Fade me out.
Yeah, and she is there. So thank y'all so much, guys. Thank y'all for coming in. Thank you for all the conversations. We really do enjoy this. I'm going to stay around and write down topics as people put some things up. And just if you have any other topics, just throw them in there really quick, because we definitely are looking for some things to cover in the future. So fourth Sunday night, 8 p.m., we will have Clock Spring next month. He's going to come and join us. We're going to show some ERRF stuff from our meetings with him, and then just talk to him about his designs and go through a lot of that. So thank you, guys. Y'all have an amazing night. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this. We really, really enjoy y'all's participation, and we hope to see more of you later. Smash the like button, do the subscribe, follow. Y'all know what to do. Y'all are all part of this whole system we're a part of. So thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great evening, and peace out.